Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I am filming this so early in the year. Today we are starting a year-long reading challenge. This reading challenge I've been keeping kind of a secret, and I feel like every month if you really followed me on Goodreads, you might be able to pick up on it. But at the beginning of the year, for my channel members, I did a whole video going over the 25 books for 2025 I wanted to read, as well as all the reading challenges I'm attempting. But I did leave one out, and that is this one, which is a year-long reading vlog that I hope you guys enjoy. I am going to be doing Books and Lala's, Kayla's Buzzword Challenge for this year. A little bit nervous about it, but I feel like this is going to really take me out of my comfort zone, allow me to read more books from my TBR, maybe some things that I haven't wanted to pick up or haven't thought about picking up in a while. So I'm attempting this year-long reading challenge, and I thought it would be really fun to include it in a full reading vlog for you guys. So stay tuned. Let's get into January. Okay, so it is January 16th, and I need to do the first buzzword for January, and I'm ready. I think I'm ready. So the buzzword for January is truth and lies. I'm gonna start by looking at my TBR shelf. That is books I haven't hauled yet. I think that's where I want to go, and then if there's nothing on there, I'll go to the books that I need to haul, because obviously those are newer. Truth and lies in the title. Let's go take a look. So up top here we have my series shelf. These are series that's going to be a part of a video. Obviously can't read Queen of Shadows, so I read Air Fire, but let's see. Truth and lies. I'm not seeing anything there. Down here. Here we go. One of us is lying. Okay, that could be an option. I've heard mixed things about this, but I have that now. This is in the lives. I thought this said lies for a second. I got excited. No. There's a couple down here. No, so that's everything that's like has been hauled. Let's just quickly glance over here to the stuff that I haven't hauled yet. Truly. Not truth though. I think this is it, guys. I think one of us is lying is gonna be it. Get a little handheld action because I haven't done that in a while. I got this book forever ago. I think I actually got it gifted to me, and it's a YA mystery thriller, which I'm really excited about, and I put it on my wish list because like the premise sounded really good, and I think when it was pitched to me by a booktuber I was really interested in it. But then I felt like I was hearing bad reviews about it, so I got a little nervous and I just never picked it up. But I did just look on Goodreads, and all of my friends that have read it have given it good reviews. So I love a good little YA thriller. Let's go ahead and start it. This lighting's gonna be a little bit silly, ridiculous, and goofy because I have to make sure my head is in a specific spot, but we're just gonna deal with it because I'm here to update you on One of Us is Lying while I pop out some wax melts. If you don't know, if you only watch my reading videos, also I look like I should be on the $20 bill. If you don't know and you only watch my reading videos, I do run a small business. I make wax melts. This is a snap bar. I'm popping molds out, but I figured now would be a great time to talk to you about One of Us is Lying. So I just finished part 1, which is like 100 or so pages. It's a YA thriller. It goes really quickly. It reads really easily. We are following 4 characters, which, by the way, didn't realize this was a show on Peacock. So if you'd like to watch the show, will I watch it? Maybe I'll watch like the first episode. But anyways, so we're following 4 characters. It is very Breakfast Club-esque. You get the 4 different perspectives, which could seem like a lot of perspectives. But like the way it's written, because it's like the Breakfast Club, they each have their own personas. So like you can tell who's who. Oh, hold on. So we're following Bronwyn, who, that's my sister's name, which is so funny to me to be reading that. But we're following Bronwyn. She's like the nerdy girl. You're following Cooper. He's the jock. Nate, he's like the drug dude, like the bad boy. And Addie, who's like the popular girl. She's dating like the most popular boy in school. I think she might be a cheerleader. Honestly, have they touched on that? Probably, and I've just glazed over it. So what happens is they all end up in detention one day in the first like chapter with a guy named Simon. Now the way they all end up in detention is very sus. Each of them was basically planted with a fake phone that they got caught with, and they're all like, this isn't my phone, but nobody believed them. So they all ended up in detention. They're in there with a 5th person named Simon, and Simon runs this like gossip column all about their school. He writes about all the people in the school. He, I would say, and they say too, I would say talks shit, but everything that he writes is true. And it ruins lives, but also like, it's all true. So they're in this detention with him, and he ends up drinking like a sip of water from a cup and has like an allergic reaction. They all try to like save him, but mysteriously there's no EpiPens anywhere in this school, and he dies. He ends up dying, and it becomes a huge like mystery, murder mystery, because, oh, that's not the right one, because who planted this peanut oil in this cup, in this water? And everybody like digs into it a little bit more, and all 4 of our main characters all had, Simon had like been planning to post a post on that gossip column all about them. Like there was a post going live the next day that was all like basically destroying all of their lives, telling their biggest secrets. So all the fingers are being pointed at each other. Obviously the title is One of Us is Lying, and we have no idea who it is quite yet. I have a suspicion, but I am interested to see how it plays out. But like I said, it's reading pretty quickly because it's YA. I am enjoying it. I'll give you guys another update once I get done with it. This is a salted caramel vanilla pound cake cornbread scent. It's delicious. But yeah, that's my update on One of Us is Lying, and I'm enjoying it so far. Alrighty, I'm here with an update on One of Us is Lying. This is by Karen M. McManus. I don't know if I ever said that. So I finished it, and I think I settled like on a strict 3, like no point, below, above, whatever. A solid 3 YA thriller. I can see why a lot of people like this. I feel like it's a bigger book, but it reads so quick because you're reading from 4 different points of view, and I liked being in everybody's point of view. There wasn't, I mean, there was, I guess, maybe one that, actually, I don't think that's true. I don't think there's one I preferred over the others. I feel like having the equal amounts of the different points of view was good. I will say every single character has like a character arc, but the like popular girl Addie, her character arc was definitely my favorite to follow. I feel like she really developed as a person, and I enjoyed it. The twist at the end, I personally didn't see coming. I felt like it was so, not like out of left field because it makes the most sense like for the situation, but it was just something like I didn't think of. Like it just was something completely out of my mind. So the twist was very good, and I think it was done well for me. This does read very high school, so I do feel this would be a good recommendation for a high schooler. I do think there are some trigger warnings you should absolutely look up if you're triggered by anything, for this book particularly. At the very end I did read the little synopsis because this is a trilogy. I won't be continuing with the trilogy. I read like the first chapter or whatever of the next book, and I just don't think I care enough to continue. But I did enjoy this. Has been on my TBR for like I think like 2 years, so to have it off is great, and it was okay. It wasn't my favorite thriller, but it was fine. So January's Buzzword complete. We're back. It is February 7th, and it's time to read the buzzword for February. So February's buzzword is water words, and I scoured my entire TBR. Now I have so many books that I feel are water related. I have From Below, which is a water horror. I have Malibu Rising, which is, I don't know if it's water, but it's got water on the cover. I have The Last One, which is about a cruise ship. Like I have so many books that have like water settings or water plot lines, but only 2 books with water words, and they're both 2 new books to me. The first is like the newest book. I literally just got it from my book of the month box. Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. This, first of all, this stunning. I think this is the prettiest cover I've ever seen in my entire life. I was showing it to my whole family. My family could have cared less. This is like a cute, I think it's honestly like a romantasy, calm, cozy fantasy. But this is definitely a contender, but I will say I did decide on the other one because I just did. It's Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Sea being the water word. I have not read anything from Brandon Sanderson. I do own Mistborn, which is the first, or it's like, I don't know, starts at the start of the trilogy, and I want to read this first before I read Mistborn to see if I like his writing, because I want to get into the Cosmere. Like, I want to be in it, you know what I'm saying? But I want to start with Trust of the Emerald Sea, and this is, I don't know, it's a standalone, it's a fantasy. I've heard really incredible things about this, and I really want to give it a try. I think it's a Princess Bride remake, essentially, kind of, but I want to know what it's about. I actually haven't really read the synopsis. I'm looking at like buzzwords like quickly. I'm seeing pirates. It's obviously something based on the sea. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. I'm really excited to read this. I'm gonna go ahead and start this today. And yeah, this is my water buzzword. Sea. Trust of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Okay, so I'm here to give you guys an update on Trust of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I'm almost done. Like 95% of the way done. I think I have maybe 50 pages left. I've been reading this really slowly, and I don't know if it's maybe the book or if it's just me, how I've been the past week, who knows. Normally I can read a book, especially a book of this length, which is 360 pages, pretty quickly, but yeah, it's taking me almost a whole week. But I will say this is giving me heavy 4-star energy, and here's why. So in this, we're following Tress, and this, I have so many things, I have so many thoughts. You're following Tress, and she starts off on this island where she has lived her entire life, and she is good friends with this boy named Charlie, who is like the son of like a duke or the king, someone super important on this island, okay? And they kind of have like a romantic relationship, but it's never like expressed. Like, they love each other, but it doesn't come until like right as he's about to leave. So his father is taking him on a trip to go find a bride, and Tress is like, what the heck? Like, I thought we loved each other, which they do. And his dad returns without him. Charlie, who's the boy, has been taken by this sorceress who is on the deadly midnight sea, and Tress then goes on a whole adventure to find Charlie. Now, I will say I've never read from anything from Brandon Sanderson before. This was my intro to him, and so far I'm really loving his writing. So for me, especially when it comes to fantasy, it is incredibly difficult for me to get into because I feel like I don't understand anything that's going on. But the way Brandon Sanderson writes, I get it so easily because he's constantly referencing back. Like, oh, remember I talked about this at this point. So he talks about it on the back, but like the seas aren't really seas. It's like sand and these things called like spores that if they're touched by water, bad things happen. So he briefly mentioned that like at the beginning, and then brought up the spores again like a few pages later. They're a huge prominent thing in this book, but a few things pages later, and then was like, remember I talked about it like this. And it just kind of like the way he writes, it kind of flows so much easier that way. And so I've been really enjoying his writing. This is giving very found family. If I had to like compare this to anything, I would say this is almost giving me the same feelings that reading The House in the Cerulean Sea gave me, which is kind of funny because they both have the word sea in them. But yeah, I think if you like The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, I do think you would enjoy this. I'm having a great time with it. Again, like I said, I'm 50 pages shy of finishing it. I'll probably finish it tonight, and it's definitely giving 4-star energy, but I will update you with my final rating probably tomorrow, after I've completed this book. So I finished Trust of the Emerald Sea, and I do think ultimately I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. I liked the story, I liked the writing, I really enjoyed the found family aspect. That's something that I adore about any sort of book. Honestly, a found family trope is one of my favorites, and I still stand on the fact that it reminds me a lot of The House in the Cerulean Sea with the found family trope. I do think I'm going to continue reading Brandon Sanderson. I just don't like, I couldn't give this a full 4 because it took me so long to read, and like, yes, while I was reading it, I fully enjoyed it. I don't know, I just didn't get as immersed in the story as I wish I would have. However, I did still enjoy it quite a bit, so I think 3.5 stars stands. So I finished my Water Words book for February, and I'll see you guys in March. And we're back. It is March. I am here. The Buzzword-a-thon graphic says that we need to have a title. This is my TBR shelf. With the word thing. It can be thing, things, nothing, something. I think those are the only words with the word thing in them. So we're gonna look through my TBR shelf and we're gonna find a book. Hopefully there's one in there, because you never know. It's not looking good, folks. I have a couple more places I can track. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. So this is Needful Things from Stephen King. This is the mass market paperback. It's 900 pages. Not exactly in the mood for a 900-page book right now, but it's the only one with the word thing in it. I do have my books that I haven't hauled yet though. Oh, praise be. I'm thinking of Ending Things. This is 200 pages by Ian Reid. I think we're gonna do this one. because 900 pages sounds horrifying and I'm not in the mood for that. We'll do this one. Alrighty, I am here to give you a first and final update. I'm literally on the tail end of a cold right now, so I feel like I'm so right now, but I'm here to give you my first and final update for I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I read this in 2 sittings. I probably could have read it in 1, and I do think this is a book I'm going to reread in the future because the ending was so good. So this is a short one. It's like 200 pages, maybe less than 200, or 210 pages. And in this, the setting is just one night. We're following this couple, specifically from the woman's point of view, while they're driving to his family's house to go to dinner. And that's kind of the entire setting, and the whole time she's just, I'm thinking of ending things, I'm thinking of ending things, and she always has these like little subconscious thoughts. And the whole experience of driving to his parents, being at his parents, leaving his parents, that's the whole plot, is really weird and really odd, but you can kind of tell something's wrong the entire time, and there's a reason she's thinking of ending things. The pace is so quick, it moves so fast. I just read the top quote here. It says, "You will be scared, but you won't know why." And I fully agree. There were so many moments in this book that were just so eerie and so spooky, and I didn't know, like, you just had that like gut feeling something was wrong, but you couldn't quite place it. And like, of course you have your theories. Like, I had a lot of different theories, but none of them were what happened in the end. The end actually got crazy. Like, it actually got way more wild than I anticipated. But I will say this was a pretty good read. I think I gave it a 3-star. I know it does say on here there is a movie on Netflix, but I was looking at all of the Reddit posts about this afterwards because the ending was another one of those endings where I was like, I need to see what other people think about this too. They all said that the movie isn't that great, which is fine because I felt like this was really good, and I felt like the pace just moved so quickly, and the whole time you're just on edge, and you just don't understand why you're on edge. You're just on edge, and then the ending kind of ties it all together in a way that I did not expect. And I actually feel like because now I know how it ended, I almost want to go back and reread the entire book from that perspective, from knowing how it ends. And I think it would make it a completely different book, which is kind of exciting in a way, to want to immediately reread a book because the ending did something to you. I'm really grateful I chose this versus Needful Things because that is a 900-page book, and I feel like I would have been in such a reading slump afterwards. Yeah, I'm glad to have read this. When I picked it up from Half Price Books, the person checking us out said that this was incredible, and so I was really excited about it. And then I even put in my Goodreads review, which is kind of funny thinking about it now because it's on Netflix and my brain wasn't processing when I finished. I wrote, this reads like an A24 movie, and it does. Like, I feel like A24 should have picked this one up because it's kind of crazy. And I really liked it, and I'm glad I read it. So I have this prompt done for March. We can move on to April. Hey everybody, so it is April. It is April 10th to be exact. It is actually my mom's birthday, which is quite exciting. And I'm here to start my next book, and it is for the Buzzword Reading Challenge, of course. That's why we're here. So the buzzword for the month of April was animals, which was kind of exciting because I had some options as far as books go. I actually had 3 on my TBR. So I did have Bird Box by Josh Malerman, which I definitely want to get to eventually. I have read 2 Josh Malermans and have loved them. I have read Daphne, which I loved, and Incidents Around the House. So I definitely want to read Bird Box. I've also already seen the movie, but regardless. And then I also just recently got from my Aardvark book box Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang by Kylie Lee Baker. This one I almost got. Like, this one I almost grabbed. I was like, ooh, I really want to read this. It hasn't even published, like the date that I'm currently filming this, April 10th, this doesn't even publish till April 29th. It was so exciting to get this early in my Aardvark box. But I was like, you know what? You're gonna read Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. I have another Rachel Harrison on my TBR. I've never read anything from Rachel Harrison. This is a part of my 25 books for 2025 that I want to read, and it was one of the books that my daughter picked, so I was like, I want to read this. It's a horror. I did start it last night. I am only 2 chapters in. Like, I read 2 chapters last night and then got really tired. Page 39, chapter 3. I'm excited to read this though. The writing is super easy to read. To be quite fair, I don't even really know what's going on right now. We have just barely met our protagonist. Her name's Vesper. Her mom is like, I guess, like a 90s scream queen. She doesn't talk to her family. She's living on her own. She's invited to a wedding, and now she's going back to her family that she left 6 years ago and has basically gone no contact with. So where I left off, we were about to, like, she was literally about to walk in the door to see her family again. So as far as I know, and from what the premise says, the family lives in like a very religious community. It's kind of giving me light cult vibes, which I'm interested in. I don't know if I've ever read like a culty book. Also, I say those and who knows. And I don't know. So I'm gonna get more into this and read some more. I'll keep you guys updated, but it is quoted on the back from Eric LaRocca, Nat Cassidy, and Claudia Lux, who wrote Sign Here. So I'm hoping to really enjoy this. So far, like I said, I am enjoying her writing, which is good because I already have So Thirsty on my TBR. Could you imagine I don't like her writing and I already have another one? That'd be awful. But I'm excited to keep going with it. Plus pink, I love a pink horror cover. They're always so good. So I'm starting Black Sheep. Alrighty, I'm here with my update for Black Sheep. I don't have the cover on it, but it is Black Sheep. Okay, so first and foremost, I am 214 pages in, chapter 13. I'm going to finish this book today, like 100% going to finish this book today, so you'll probably see either this face again or a more disheveled after work face again. I'm really liking it so far, if I can start with that. This is not at all what I expected from the synopsis. I would even go as far as to say, don't even read the synopsis. Just pick up this book. I can't really say much without spoiling anything, but there were a couple of like reveals. Okay, so I think the first reveal wasn't really a reveal, but I'm just dumb. But when it happened, I said, oh my goodness. But then the second reveal, I must be smart. No, the second reveal I felt like made sense, and when it happened, I was like, duh, could have told you that. I'm really liking this book so far. So in this, we're just for just like a quick brief synopsis, I think you should read this first and foremost. We're following our gal named Vesper. Vesper lives out on her own. She's like 23. She's kind of like no contact with her family, and she's just trying to make things work. She gets an invitation to a childhood friend's wedding, and she's like, man, I have to go. This is my childhood friend, but I am going back to my family and the religious community that she has left, that she went no contact with a few years earlier. And she's like, do I really want to go? Not really. The title Black Sheep is perfect because she is like the black sheep of the family. So gone back to this wedding, and that's when all these like reveals start happening. And where I'm at right now, the book just makes sense to me. Like, it's just, to me, this isn't horror. This is very like satire horror. It's fun. I'm having a good time. Obviously the elements of this book are scary, and there are some scary things, like some gore, but like I'm having a great time. And like, here's the thing, I want to sit here and pitch this whole book to you, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. I want you to read this book because I think it's so good so far. I don't know where it's gonna end. I have absolutely no idea, but I'm like feeling 4-star energy from it right now, and I'm so happy that I have So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison because I'm really enjoying her writing. It's really good, and this book is pretty fun. Like, it's just like a fun time. Like, I'm just having a good time with it. But yeah, that's my update. Like I said, I should finish this book today. Pretty stoked about that because it's a fun time. And I'm gonna go read right now. I'm gonna go lay on the couch and read while my husband watches whatever he watches on YouTube. I don't know. So I'm having a good time though. Hi. So I finished Black Sheep, and to be fair, the night that I was like, oh, I'll definitely finish this tonight, I read a chapter and then fell asleep. I finished it last night though, and I'm giving it 4 stars. Kind of shocked to say that because my expectations of this book were so low, but I feel like it was so different than I expected. And I don't know, looking at it now, and I'm like, you should have seen like the main plot, but like I just didn't. Like, I'm obviously the minority because I didn't see what the main plot of this book was, but I just had such a great time with it. I felt like the ending was so good. For me, horror can end and make the book terrible. Like, I could be enjoying the entire book and then the book ends and the ending's terrible, and I'm like, okay, I hated this. But I feel like this had such a perfect ending. It was such like a campy horror. Sorry, I'm so greasy, like it's like a weeknight, I need to take a shower. But anyway, campy horror book, and I'm so happy to have read this. I thought it was so fun. I do recommend this for people who are not fans of horror but are interested in the genre and don't want to be scared, because not once during this book did I feel uneasy or scared or any of those things. I just had a really great time reading it. So 4 stars. I really enjoyed Black Sheep. Guys, it is currently May 15th, If you can see that, we're halfway through the month and I need to get to the buzzword challenge for this month. So the buzzword is two, T-O or T-O-O. And I looked through my entire TBR of like 100+ books, you guys. And the only book that has the word two or two in it was How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler. I'm excited about that because it was a part of my 25 for 2025, but can you literally believe that out of every single book, 100+ books, this is the only one with the word two in it? Crazy. So I did go ahead and start this book. I am 61 pages in, chapter 3. You heard me right. 61 pages in, chapter 3. I have lots of thoughts already. So let me read the synopsis so I don't accidentally spoil anything. Okay, so this book is, I know it's probably pronounced Davy, but that's my dad's name, so saying that is always weird. I'm calling her Davi. So this is about Davi, and she is stuck in a time loop, and she even jokingly says it feels like it could potentially be a video game. She constantly wakes up naked in this like puddle and goes and does these like tasks in this fantastical world and somehow always dies. She's done it like 300 times, and this time she's sick of it. She's like, you know what, I'm done with the Dark Lord and his minions coming after me and killing me, and I live for like a year or I live for 5 minutes. I'm over this, so I'm gonna become the Dark Lord. So this time she does something completely different from what she normally does in her time loop, and it's been kind of fun. My first grievance though is that each chapter is like 30 pages. I'm like, girl, I need shorter chapters. However, it has been pretty fun. She is a very smart assy. She, like, there's so many curse words in this. She's horny. I don't know, she's doing the thing, and there's a lot of actually, if I were you, I would read the content warnings in the beginning because there is quite a bit of trigger warnings, but like, it's pretty fun so far. It's funny. There's a lot of these like little subtexts at the bottom, and I'm, you know, 2 chapters in, but so far I'm enjoying myself. It's like you're reading a fantasy because you're in this like fantastical world, but it is almost the same way that she's explaining that she almost feels like she's in a video game because she's respawning every time she dies. Sometimes she'll die instantly, sometimes she goes years without dying. And like I said, she's sick of it. She's like, you know what, no, I'm not going into the kingdom anymore. I'm taking over. I'm gonna become the Dark Lord and I'm not gonna die anymore because I'm sick of it. So I'm really excited to keep going with this one. I do think there's a second one in this series. It does say Dark Lord Davy book 1, and I think it comes out this month, which is kind of exciting that I'm reading this now, because then if I end up loving it, I'll just get the second one. That is what I'm currently reading for May. I'll keep you updated on my thoughts, but so far I'm having a good time. So I finished How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler. Ultimately, I'm giving it a 3.5 star. I really enjoyed it. I felt like the story moved at a really good pace. It almost felt like you were following a video game. It felt very like questy, and I don't know, I've never read a book like it. And I want to say, yeah, it felt like you were going on a quest with this character, and I actually really did enjoy it. I liked Davi. I thought she was really witty and fun and sarcastic. There were some things that she was like saying that sometimes I was like, this is a little odd for this character, but I also at the end just really enjoyed it. I felt like it ended on such an odd cliffhanger, and there was also like not necessarily a twist, but kind of a twist at the end that definitely had me jaw dropped. It was so good. I have the second one pre-ordered. The second one, it comes out May 27th. Today is actually May 21st, so in 1 week I get the second one. I don't know when I plan on reading it, but I'm very excited for it. So again, 3.5 stars. I would probably have given this a full 4 star, except for the fact that the chapters were so long. There's 12 whole chapters in this book. This is like a 400-page book. 12 whole chapters is a little intense. They were like 60-page chapters. That's like that's a me thing. That's why I knocked it down. But regardless, I still really enjoyed this, and I'm glad to have finally read it. Plus, it was on my 25 for 2025, so to knock that off and knock it off a buzzword, pretty exciting. So yay, May is complete. Hello, it is officially June 16th to be exact, and I am here with another buzzword reading challenge. The buzzword for June, let me look it up because I've already forgotten. June is a memory word. Now, I have scoured my entire TBR. My TBR consists of over 100 books, so like you would think I'd have like remember, forget, any other sort of memory word in my TBR, and maybe I do, and I'm just browsing right over it, but I do have a lot of words that involve the head. I have like a head full of ghosts. That's the only one I can think of, but I have a few. I have a head full of ghosts. I took a picture. I have a head full of ghosts. I have in my dreams, like I was thinking dreams, I hold a knife. I have known, I who have never known could be considered, I guess, a memory word, but I don't have any like remember, forget, any of those. But what book I settled on is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I thought memory word, brain, it could work. And I think that's probably the only prompt for this entire year that I was really like, I felt was really difficult. So, you know, we've accomplished that. So this is actually my second Ali Hazelwood I've ever read. First one being Bride, which I find to be kind of funny because I feel like I probably should have read one of her like Steminist or any other romance novel before Bride, but I'm happy to be reading this one now. So I started it last night. I'm on chapter 6, page 78, and so far I'm actually really enjoying it. I always say this about romance, but maybe it's just because I go so few and far between, or I go so often without reading a romance book, that when I pick one up, I'm in love with it. I'm really enjoying this one so far. We are following B, and B is going to Houston to work with NASA on this big like project. She's a neuroscience scientist? I mean, I don't think she's a student. I think she's just a neuroscientist. And she's going to work on a massive project that could really launch her career. But unfortunately, when she gets there, before she gets there, she realizes that she is co-collaborating with an enemy, someone that she never used to get along with ever because she just assumes that he hates her. When she gets to Houston, she realizes that like a lot of things are going wrong. Like her equipment is missing, orders have been getting canceled that would help her. She's not getting invited to meetings that she should be going to, and she's attributing it all to Levi not liking her. And I mean, I feel like we can kind of see he definitely likes her, and we get a little bit of his perspective but not too much, and I'm really liking where it's going. It feels very just like enemies work enemies to lovers, but also he falls first, but also might be a little miscommunication because I feel like she thinks he doesn't like her, but I think as a reader we see the opposite. But I'm really enjoying it so far. It reads really quickly. Just like with Bride, I feel like Ali Hazelwood's female main characters are really witty and funny and have so much personality that I really enjoy. I feel like with a few romances I've read that the female and the male character really can like hold their own, each individually having like a good personality. But in her novels, I always feel like the female main character just really shines. Like she's just so witty and fun and sarcastic, and I'm definitely seeing that here with B. But yeah, I'm not very far into it. I think like 20%. I'm gonna keep going, but so far I am really enjoying it. Okay, sorry for the fresh out of the shower look, but it is June, it is summertime, it is beautiful outside. We are outside all the time, and I was disgusting. I had to take a shower. I wanted to let you guys know that I did finish Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. 5 stars. I adored this. I adored this so much. I definitely could see the same, obviously, I mean, it's the same author, duh, but I could see the same writing with this in Bride, where the female main character is just so good. She's so witty, she's so funny, she can hold her own, she's smart in this like Steminist novel, and I just really liked B. I liked Levi too. I kept picturing, it's probably because we just finished watching Overcompensating, but I just kept picturing Adam DeMarco as him, and I have the meanest crush on him. It made me like Levi, I think, a little bit more, but I just really enjoyed this. I felt like the chemistry, and I say that, well, I guess they're not chemists, but I say that with, you know, science in mind. The chemistry between them was so great. There was like a couple of conflicts throughout this, but the like minor one, I really liked how it was handled, and then the major one like really came out of nowhere. I kind of could see it coming, just like a pinch, but it went really like AWOL really quickly, and I kind of liked that a lot as well. Loved the ending. I found this to be just so endearing, and I loved the writing. I feel like it reads so quickly, and yeah, immediately after finishing this, I added The Love Hypothesis, Love Theoretically, Not in Love, Check and Mate. I feel like maybe I added one more to my wish list because I was like, I need to read more Ali Hazelwood. I do have Deep End on my TBR, and I feel like because it is this summer, maybe I should prioritize that because I just really like her writing, and I really love this. I'm so happy. 5 stars. Like, I'm just so happy to have found a 5-star. Every time I get a 5-star that's not the Hunger Games, I get excited because Hunger Games for me is going to be a 5-star, but this, obsessed with it. Hello, it is officially July. It is July 21st, almost the end of the month, and I'm just now getting to my book of the month. I have been reading a bunch, and I'm starting back in the Throne of Glass series, so I started back with Air Fire this month, and it took me a little bit to get through that, but I am so ready. So the buzzword for this month is punctuation, which shockingly in my TBR, I have a ton of books with punctuation, mostly commas, and I kind of dwindled it down to 2 books. I was either going to do Good Girl, Bad Blood, which is the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which I probably should have picked, if I'm being honest with you, because, you know, as someone who is in the middle of a bunch of series right now, it would have been in my best interest, but I couldn't stop thinking about Knock Knock Open Wide, which has a comma right here, which is punctuation. I started it a couple days ago. I am currently 153 pages in, almost halfway done with it. This is a rather short book and I'm invested. I don't know if I guess so far I'm really enjoying what's happening, but I don't know if I'm loving it yet or if I'm just along for the ride. So I almost want to read the synopsis to you, but I'm not going to. I mean, well, I might read parts of it because this book is just crazy. So it follows 2 different timelines. We're following a timeline from 1979 and then 1999. This takes place in Ireland. We're following, if I missay her name, I am so sorry. I think it's Etain. In 1979, she's driving home from a party on this like pitch black Irish countryside road, and she comes across a corpse of a dead man. And being like young and I don't know how to explain it, being like, I guess young and also a little bit naive, she feels as though it's her duty to take this corpse and find it a place to rest, essentially. So she takes the corpse off the road into her car and she goes to a remote farmhouse where it says here, it so begins a night of unspeakable horror that will echo through her life and the lives of her children. So I got to that part. Really, it's weird, and I don't know how to explain it because it's just so different than what I've ever read from a horror book before. And then we follow again, like the 2 decades later, we're following this girl named Betty who's going off to college, and she becomes obsessed and in love with this girl named Aisling. And Aisling is actually Etain's daughter. Aisling does not want Betty to meet her mom, Etain, I think that's how you say it, because she's an alcoholic and she's like a hot mess. Assuming because of what had happened to her. She doesn't talk about it, but like assuming because of what had happened to her. But eventually Betty does meet her mom. Because of that, gradually Betty learns about their family history, which is so far, like so much more than what I just expressed, and Aisling's secret obsession with her family's history. Aisling is convinced that she's convinced that the horrors, I suppose, that her family has been bestowed upon them, because it's not just what happened to her mom, but there's been other subsequent things that have happened, are due to a like innocent children's TV show, which isn't really that innocent. It's actually pretty spooky. It says everyone in Ireland watched the show in their youth, but Aisling soon discovers that no one remembers it quite the same way, which reminds me a lot of Mr. Magic by Kirsten White. And it says, and only she seems to remember its star, a small black goat puppet who lives in a box and only comes out if you don't behave. They say he's never come out, almost never. When the door between the known and unknown opens, it can never close again. It says it's, so I guess I didn't read too much of this before starting, but it says it's Celtic myth, terrifying, heartbreaking, supernatural tale of fractured family bonds. It's feeling very like urban legend folklore-ish, and I'm very much so enjoying that. The storylines are like weaving so beautifully together. So we follow like initially from that 1979, we follow that night when she goes to that remote farmhouse, like her step-by-step experience there, and then it cuts to fast forward where Betty meets Aisling and they start to develop a relationship, and then it goes back to when she's found because she was essentially missing, and then kind of like the steps leading up to her like having a family and things like that, and then it keeps cutting back and forth, and I'm really enjoying it. I will say some of these chapters are very long. I was on the treadmill last night and I go on the treadmill for 30 minutes and I read 1 chapter that entire time. It was pretty crazy. I think I'm like really entranced with the story. It's very interesting to me. I don't know quite yet what rating I would give it. I'm having a really good time with this, and I just want to know what happens. Like I just need to know what happens. So that's what I'm currently reading, and I'll keep you updated. All right, so I'm here with an update for Knock Knock Open Wide. I am currently about 220 pages in. Looks like this. I have a feeling I'm going to finish it today. I'm going on a Reading Sprints live stream with my channel members today. I have a feeling I'm just going to finish this, so I wanted to give you an update before I finished it and give you like, I guess, my final review. Everything that I said before still stands. I really enjoyed enjoy the way this story is playing out. I actually genuinely think I love the writing of this story and I love the way it's being told. Yes, it is from two different timelines, but the first timeline, we don't really know anything still. We still have absolutely no idea what happened to this girl. And then in the second timeline, we're kind of finding things out along the way as well. So I like how each timeline we are kind of building up to a peak of where we're going to find out exactly what happened and then currently what's happening in the current timeline. So I'm really loving the way it's written. I think it's written so well and the suspense is building so heavily. Like, yes, this is a shorter horror. It's like 300 pages, which I tend to really like longer, more slow burn, but I feel like we are still getting that slow burn. We're still getting that suspense and I'm really enjoying that. So far, I'm really happy with it. The ending could always, sway me quite a bit, but I'm really excited to finish this today on reading sprints and I'll let you guys know what I feel. Alrighty, so I finished Knock Knock Open Wide while streaming and I gave it 4 stars. And while streaming, I looked up what other books Neil Sharpson has written and he has one coming out in September that is essentially the same like Irish folklore, probably a different folklore, I'm sure, but I immediately added it to the wish list because I need to read more. This was just so creepy and eerie, but also just, I love the folklore aspect of it. I love the dual timelines. I love how they came to a head at the very end. And like, as the climax was happening, it was just getting crazier and crazier. And I really, really liked that. There was some parts of this that I felt were just a little bit drawn out. Like the fact that Aisling and Betty were in like a drama society. I felt like some of the drama that came with the drama society was so unnecessary for this plot. Like it was just like a side plot that didn't really need to happen, but everything else went so smoothly. And I felt like the writing was just so perfectly creepy and atmospheric. I'm just so happy to have read this one. I'm glad I picked this one. I can't wait to add it to my little graphic now, and July is complete. Guys, happy August. Today is actually August 24th. This month is almost over and I realized, hey, you need to read your book for the month. The prompt, the word for the month of August is with, and shockingly, I actually had 3 books that had the word with in it, so I didn't really have to look too far or think too deeply about what book I would be reading for the month of August. I had If He Had Been With Me, which is like a YA romance that's really, really sad, and I honestly was not in the mood for that. I also just realized you were super zoomed in, so sorry. I also had The Girl With All the Gifts, which is, I believe, the start of a horror duology, and I believe it's about zombies. And I do really want to read that book, but I have not read a romance in a minute. So I decided to do With Love from Cold World. I've actually been wanting to read this book for quite some time. I did read Love in the Time of Serial Killers by this author. This is Alicia Thompson, and I believe I rated it pretty highly, maybe a 4-star, because I really liked the writing. So first of all, adore this cover. Was really excited to read it because I enjoyed Love in the Time of Serial Killers so much. This one, so far, I'm literally like more than halfway through at this point, guys. I'm on page 211, chapter 17. In this, we are following our 2 main characters. We do get dual POV, which I do enjoy, although it is from like a 3rd-person perspective or 2nd-person perspective. It's a little bit confusing sometimes, but it's all good. They both work at this place in Orlando called Cold World. I keep it, and even in my head when I read it out loud, I say Cold War, and I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. It's essentially kind of like a dying theme park in Orlando, obviously, because, they have Disney, they have Universal, other things to garner attraction, and Cold World is a snow winter wonderland inspired miniature warehouse theme park. So we have Lauren, who works in bookkeeping, she works in the office, she does like numbers, and then we have Asa, who's been there for like since Cold World started essentially, and he just kind of does odds and ends things. He just works all over the place, and she's only been there a couple of years, and they've been sort of at odds for years. Like, she's a little uptight, he's a little bit more silly, goofy, fun, and they both have like an attraction towards each other, but it never really comes to light too much. And then the owner one day asks both of them, as well as her son too, which Lauren has a crush on her son named Daniel, to kind of propose a plan to help Cold World out, to kind of garner more attraction, to bring more customers, more eyes. And it starts like a little bit of a friendly competition between the two, and it's very cute, very fun. They're banter's okay. I like them both as individual people. They both have a really, like both of them, very intense backstories, which I don't think I've read in a romance where both of them have like pretty rough backstories, pretty rough childhoods. And then they come together, they're super like feisty with each other. They seem more like angry than bantery, which is why I think their banter is a little bit weird. But here we are now, I'm 211 pages in and sparks are flying. I will say that I don't know if I love this because I just, like I said, their banter is just strange. I don't think they like really like each other. I almost feel like it's just attraction at this point, and like their personalities clash so much. And I like them both as individual people, but together it just seems strange. Although I will say the spicy scenes are really good. There's been 2 so far, and I've really enjoyed both of the spicy scenes, I'm not gonna lie. But other than that, I don't know. I just feel like they both have too much going on, and it just, I don't know, unless something happens where their banter just doesn't seem as like competitive or mean, I just don't know if I can rate this really highly. Like I don't like it the way I like Love in the Time of Serial Killers. So I'm just gonna keep reading, keep you updated. I will say though, I do love the setting. I love like the cold world theme park situation. I think that's really cool. And then you do like, it does talk about their jobs quite a bit, which I enjoy reading about. I find that to be really fascinating. So like I said, I'll keep you guys updated, but it's just okay. I have just talked for so long because I filmed like a book haul, and then I was like, oh, I should film like a channel besties, like putting all the books on my TBR. And now my TBR is overflowing and it looks terrible. So I'm like really sad, but I've been talking for forever. But I'm here to update you on With Love from Cold World. I am giving this 3 stars. This book is not objectively a bad book. It is a good book with solid characters. They have solid backstories, and the romance was fine. The steam was great. I objectively liked it. However, it had the misunderstanding trope that I felt almost took it to a new level that I did not like. Characters, like I said, had really sad backstories, but they really added to who they were as adults. And these characters, I just don't think they're good together. I don't think Lauren and Asa are good together because constantly, like, he's like a funny jokester, prank, like sarcastic guy, and she just cannot pick up on that sarcasm. So constantly she thinks he's being mean to her, and then so she's always on this like kind of like bitter front, and he can't pick up when she's like feeling a type of way. So they constantly think they're mad at each other, and that led to the 3rd act conflict, which like you could see coming from a mile away because of all these misunderstandings. And I just didn't feel like their communication was good as a couple. And I just couldn't see that being realistic. Like, yeah, I love them each individually as characters, but I just don't think they're good for each other. And I don't know. Like I said, the book is objectively good. I love the setting of this cold world, like tiny little theme park. And I like how they talk about their jobs a lot, and they're doing this like side project to help bring Cold World back to, you know, where it needs to be. But it didn't feel the way I like romances to feel. And therefore it's a 3-star. And I'm really disappointed in that, but also at the same time, I'm glad I read it. I like Alicia Thompson's writing. I love her covers more than anything, and I can't wait to add this to the shelves. But I think I liked Love in the Time of Serial Killers better, and I'll just keep an eye on her new releases and kind of see how the ratings go for those, because this one does have a little bit of a lower rating, lower average rating, but it was just fine. And I'm pretty disappointed in that read, but had With in the title, and so therefore I read it. Hi guys, we're here with September. It is September 20th. The challenge for September is event. And I probably have a bunch of books on my TBR that have like an event type word in them, but because it's nearing the end of the year, I desperately want to finish my 25 and 2025. I only have 5 books left, and I was looking at them, and none of them really, like, one of them is about an event. I had one that was perfect. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And that's The Long Walk by Stephen King. The Long Walk is an event in itself, and I have started it, but I was like, that is literally perfect because I can do this as my event. It knocks off another 25 in 2025. Now I'm down to 4 left, which is incredible. And I started this the other night. I'm only 99 pages in, chapter 6. I read the first part, which was like 40 pages. The first night I read this, and then last night I was so tired that I only read like 50 or so pages. But this starts off out the gate. We're following a 16-year-old named Ray Garrity. Out the gate, it literally starts with his mom dropping him off to start the long walk. Like, there is no prologue to this. It is literally about this event. And so it starts with the long walk. There's 100 of these boys and they go on this walk and they can't stop walking or they die. And that's crazy to me. And it sounds like they win, if they're the last person, they win a substantial amount of money, but I don't really truly know, like that, I don't know, like I don't really know. I haven't heard too much about this Stephen King. I mean, you hear about all the like Carrie, Misery, The Shining, not really Salem's Lot, Pet Cemetery, but no one really ever talks about The Long Walk. The movie just came out, and so this was on my 25 for 2025 because I wanted to read a Stephen King this year. I've only read a few, and this was like the shortest one, if I'm being so frank with you. It's like 300 pages, and so far I'm enjoying it. The writing is great. It feels very classic Stephen King. I'm sucked into it, and I think the horror of this is literally just going to be what happens to these boys as they essentially disintegrate because they're trying so hard to stay alive. So I'm gonna keep reading. I'll keep you updated, but I'm so grateful I had an event on my 25 and 2025 because I can knock that right off. Alrighty, so I am here to give you guys my final review of The Long Walk by Stephen King. I'm so sad to report that I actually ended up giving this 2 stars, and this is the second book this year that I've given 2 stars, which I guess is good as far as reading goes to have only 2 stars this entire year. But I was just so disappointed in this, and I have a lot of thoughts. So while reading this, it really did remind me of The Compound. Let me show you The Compound here. Only in the sense that The Compound and The Long Walk have the same setup where we start immediately. The walk starts, the book starts. The walk ends, the book ends. And that's kind of how The Compound is, where like when the show starts, the book starts, when the show ends, the book ends. And that kind of just, I kept getting those same like feelings while reading The Long Walk. And you do get a bit more backstory about our main guy, Ray, quite a bit, versus in The Compound, you don't really get any like backstory truly about the main character. But I kept reading this because it's short and I felt like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, I guess. Just nothing happened. There was really no plot. It was just these boys walking, and if they didn't walk, they died. And there's rules to this, and there's things that happen like throughout, but there's really like there's no fighting. There's no the main big bad is just the fact that if they stop walking, they'll die. And maybe I just couldn't connect with it in a way. And I know this is a lot of people's favorite Stephen King, and I just couldn't connect with it. I couldn't find myself really enjoying the story. And like I said, I kept reading because I was waiting for something to happen, and it just never did. And therefore I am giving it 2 stars. And I'm really sad about that because the past couple Stephen Kings that I've read, well, no, I think this is the last in recent years Stephen King that I've read that I haven't enjoyed. My personal, in case you're ever curious, my personal favorite Stephen King is Salem's Lot. That's one of my favorites. I also really enjoy It and The Outsider. That's one of my favorites as well. I was hoping to every year when I do my 25 and 2025, 26 and 2026, etc., include a Stephen King book, but I don't know, because now I just feel so like, I don't know. Maybe I just won't include it in any challenges I set for myself moving forward, but I'm just so disappointed in this. I was really hoping it would be different. And yeah, 2 stars. What a bummer. Alrighty, it is October. It is October 15th, and I am here to do the October Buzzword Challenge. Now, the buzzword for October is perfect because it's violent words, and I am reading all horror in October, so if you watched that reading vlog, this is going to be like deja vu for you because I'm going to be filming 2 separate clips kind of going over this book twice because I don't want that vlog to not have this book in it, if that makes sense. I only have a few books on my horror section of my TBR that have like somewhat of violent words in them, and I kind of had to get a little bit creative with this one, so I'm going to say blood is a violent word. I think it is a violent word because I have been itching to read A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I've been itching to read it. It's a vampire book. It looks like it's going to read really quickly. From what I know, it's about one of Dracula's brides, and I can't wait to read it. And I'm going to be starting it today, and I'll obviously keep you guys updated. So I've been looking forward to this book since I found it at half price, which is crazy that I found this at half price books. So that's going to be my October buzzword book, A Dowry of Blood. Could there have been better options for the violent words? Yes. I have slasher, I have massacre, I have death, I have suffer, but blood is going to be what I ended up choosing. Now, normally I like to give you guys like 3 good clips of the books when I start it, when I'm in the middle of it, and when I finish it, but I flew through A Dowry of Blood, and I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I found that it was just like the most perfect little fantastical horror vampire book. We're following, I'm gonna mispronounce her name, Constanta, who is Dracula's first bride, and this book is a love letter to him, her telling him why she killed him, which it's funny to say that because I read that in the first like page or two that she kills him. This is a love letter to him, why she killed him. And then meanwhile we get to it at the end and I completely had forgotten, which I thought was kind of fun. We follow her love story where she gets turned by him. She also never refers to him as Dracula. It's always you or him, which I loved. And she didn't want to give him a name. Again, loved that. About her obsession with him, her devotion to him, her desire for him, and how it all kind of came crumbling down. So she was his first bride, at least in this story. She knows that there are others before her. And again, like I said, we follow as she gets turned, and then their lives together that span centuries. And then when he takes another bride, Magdalena, we follow that a little bit as well. And then we follow the final bride, Alexis. I'm not sure, it might be Alexis. And that story was a little bit shorter, which I was a little bit bummed about, and that's why I gave it 4 stars, because I loved this story. I felt like the writing was really beautiful. There were so many incredible quotes in here about love and devotion and the way a person feels about another that I really enjoyed reading. But I felt like the first like part of meeting Constanta sounds right. Meeting her getting turned, their lives together spanning centuries, and then a little bit of Magdalena was also a little bit long, but then when we meet the final bride, it was like really short and I felt like it wrapped up really quickly. I could have used a ton more time with these characters. I wanted them just a little bit more fleshed out, especially because they are vampires, they don't die. I wanted more time with them, so I'm a little bit sad about that, but overall I found this to be such an incredible read, and like I said, I flew through it super quickly. I mean, it is a faster read. There's no chapters, but I mean, there is chapters, but there's no like chapter headings, but some of them were like a page or two. Like they would look like this. So it was very easy for me to fly through this, and yeah, I'm just really grateful I finally got to it because it was just such an incredible read and I'm happy to have read it. So that is going to be my silent word, blood, for October. Hi guys. It's Thanksgiving. It's November 26th, and I'm here with another Buzzword Challenge video. I am about halfway, a little more than halfway through my book. Haven't had really an opportunity to update you because that's what happened, but the buzzword for November is never, and I have, as far as I know, I only have 2 books. I don't really truly look. I only had 2 books with the word never in them, but I opted for the shortest book because I've been in such like a reading slump. So I went for I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman, and it's translated by Roz Schwartz. This is a super short, less than 200 page book. I will say though, like I told you, I am pretty far into this. There are no chapters, not a single chapter. So finding stopping points has been difficult because it is just a continuous story, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think I like it. So in this book, we're mostly following this one woman. She's a younger girl, and she is the 40th prisoner in this like underground bunker full of 40 women, and they're watched by these guards. They don't know why they're there. They were taken forever ago. This is the youngest girl. She grew up there, so she knows nothing but this bunker and these women. That's all she knows. She kind of sits alone. She's like an outcast because these women don't really want to talk to her too much because they've lived lives for this, but they're slowly forgetting. Time is just continuously passing. It's like years and years and years are passing. And one day she figures out the key to their escape and their survival. And this story is like, it was kind of slow at the beginning, but it's picked up quite a bit. I feel like this is a sci-fi based on just like what's happening. I'm enjoying it, but I also don't know where it's going. So I'll keep you guys updated, but I did want to let you know I'm like literally 102 pages in. It's like 160 pages. This is my book for November. I'll keep you updated as much as possible. So I have finished I Who Have Never Known Men, and I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I see the hype. I see why everyone on BookTube and Book Talk really like this book. I think it was, from start to finish, a very well told story. The fact that there are no chapters can be a little bit frustrating for somebody like me who does read at night and falls asleep pretty often. But if you're not like that and you can just consume 200 pages in one go, or less than 200 pages in one go, highly suggest. I mean, highly suggest in general, but reading it all in one go is probably the way to go. The first 20% of this was incredibly interesting, and then it became just so much more interesting. So many more things started happening. And yes, it has a very ambiguous ending, which I kind of felt like I knew going into this. So I wasn't as, I think, upset as maybe I would have been had I not known that.
potentially. But I did enjoy this. I do like the thought process behind it and how it does make you think about your life and certain aspects that maybe these girls, these women didn't get to experience that maybe you're experiencing, and how things would be different, you know? And I really enjoyed it. It was a quick, short, thoughtful read, very dystopian, but I absolutely did enjoy this, and I'm glad this was my pick for November. Now, moving into December, because I did finish that the week of Thanksgiving and December 1st was Monday, I did go ahead and start. So December's buzzword prompt was alliteration. Now, I could potentially have other books that have alliteration. To be fair, I didn't quite look too hard because I already had a vision of what I wanted to read. I've been thinking about this book literally since January when I saw all the buzzwords, and the first, I saw alliteration. I was like, oh, this is it. This is the book I want to read. And that is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is the first in the Crimson Moth duology. I believe there's only going to be two, or the second one's out, but I think it's only two. This is a YA, I believe, romantasy, and I started it a couple of days ago. I did not get very far yet. I told you guys I've been reading at night and tired at night, okay? I'm a sleepy gal. So for the past couple of nights, I've only been able to read like 30 pages. So I'm really not that far at all. Only on chapter 9, page 62. And this does read rather quickly because it is a YA. It's very easy to understand, especially as far as fantasy goes. Sometimes that's so nice when you want to read a fantasy book, but you don't want to dive into kind of a difficult world. It's nice to have something like this. So far, I'm liking it. I really am. It's dual perspective. We're following Rune and Gideon. Rune is a witch in this world where witches are hunted and killed, and so she's kind of undercover, and she is the Crimson Moth, so she tries to save all of the witches that she can from being executed. And then we're following Gideon, who is the head of the Blood Guard, killing these witches. And I'm liking these tropes so far. We're getting brother's best friend. We're getting enemies to lovers, which I don't know if I've truly ever read an enemies to lovers. So I'm kind of chomping at the bit to keep going with this because I'm enjoying it so much. I like the way the world is currently being built up. I enjoy Rune. I enjoy Gideon, and I can't wait to see how it plays out because I'm so not far into this at all that like they've only ever really had, at least on page, one interaction. I'm interested to see what happens. So I'm having a good time. I also will say this might be the prettiest cover, possibly of all time. I love the teal. I love the orangey red. I love the moth. I'm obsessed with this. So that's my December read. I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to continue it. Oh my gosh, can you believe we're literally at the end of the year together? I have to start editing this video. It's been a whole year. I could have been editing it at any time, but yet here I am. Alrighty, I am here with, I would say, a mid-book update, but I am like 75% of the way through this. I am on chapter 43, page 294. I think I have almost exactly, if not a little over 100 pages left in this, and I'm really enjoying it. I know, I'm almost positive it is YA because these characters are younger, but it does almost feel like an adult fantasy. I'm really enjoying how kind of easy it is to understand this world and to understand what is happening. And I'm enjoying meeting these characters and kind of learning more about them and their backstories as they come together. This is definitely true enemies to lovers. Like I said, we did get perspectives from both Gideon and Rune. Rune is our Crimson Moth. She's trying so hard to save these witches as a witch herself, in like plain sight hiding, and she's trying to prove to Gideon, who's the captain of the Blood Guard, who is in search of the Crimson Moth and in search of these witches so they can purge them. And he and her, like, he suspects her as the Crimson Moth, which is why they're like fake dating essentially. Like they both know they're fake dating, but they are trying to convince the other that they're together. It's obviously like so he's trying to convince her he wants to date her so he can find out that she's the Crimson Moth. She's trying to date him to convince him that she's not the Crimson Moth, although she is. So he's, you know, you kind of see them falling for each other, and I'm really enjoying it. It's the Witch and Witch Hunter, which I really like, and a lot is happening. There is this one specific witch that she's trying to save that he already has like kind of in custody, and so she's trying to get this information out of him. His little brother is her best friend, and his little brother also knows that she's the Crimson Moth. She has two best friends. She has Alex, the little brother, and Verity, and something is like giving me a weird vibe about both of them, like at different points. Like at the beginning, I kind of had a weird vibe from Alex. I was like, something feels off about this, and I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, as far as like what just happened. Something still feels off about him. And then Verity also gives me weird vibes, especially with just what just happened at the specific point I'm at. But maybe I'm just thinking too far into it. Maybe I've read way too many thrillers that I just suspect everybody of being a bad person. I am enjoying it so far. The story is moving so quickly. I am enjoying it so much. I'm getting a phone call right now, but I should finish this tonight and I'm really excited, so I'll keep you guys updated. So I have finished Heartless Hunter and therefore have finished this year-long reading vlog. Do I look different than what I did in January? I don't know. I haven't edited this yet, but you can let me know. Thoughts on Heartless Hunter? I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I will definitely be continuing in this duology. The ending, I mean, it sets up a cliffhanger ending. I need to know what happens next. I loved the relationship between Rude and Gideon. I really felt like I enjoyed Rune kind of coming into her own, coming into her power, I guess. And I really liked that, her feeling confident. Like, I feel like almost at the beginning she was almost ashamed that she was a witch because they, you know, they're being purged off this island and she was just in hiding as it is, and so she was ashamed. But at the end I felt like she really was like, you know what, I'm a witch. Like, I have this power. I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to hide it. I want to save other witches. I want to be in this power. And Gideon, like, you get to hear his backstory a little bit and you realize why he is the way he is, and you feel so deeply for him because like he just lived such a tragic life. And it all, like, the third act conflict is like a whole conflict because now the conflict is still happening and it's probably going to move into the next story. And I just need those two together because, oh God, they were so sweet when they finally were like, oh, I love you too. And then it was ripped from us. It was ripped from us, and now I need to know what happens. I am so excited to finish this series, and to have a duology is so nice. So I am excited to continue this series, and this was so good. 4 stars. And with that, that is the end of this year-long Books and Lala Buzzword Readathon video. I have completed every single buzzword. I am so proud of myself. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know if you enjoyed it. I thought it would be really fun to do like a secret reading vlog all year long, and hopefully I succeeded. And I hope you enjoy. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye, guys.